Good afternoon, everyone. This is Assyria Raven, your friendly neighborhood witch fights good times and fun memories. Unfortunately, I am coming to you today regarding a piece of information that is happening within the Otome gaming world. It has come to my attention that Infold, the company behind Love and Deep Space, has decided to delete a very beloved character that has not yet been released to the game. He was just in his early stages of being promoted, and Infold decided to delete him. There was a live stream that did happen on Infold's many content channels, and they promised Valko will not be going anywhere. However, the very next day, Valko was then hence announced as cancelled and deleted. This is where many of the overseas fans are very upset. Many of the domestic fan base, because yes, Love and Deep Space is a Chinese otome game, basically a dating sim type game, and they did not like Valko. They said he was too dark, that he was too manly, said that he was aimed at quote-unquote the gay man player base of Love and Deep Space, and that he is a danger to the MC because, yes, in his lore, in his little video that he had, that he shows up on the MC's balcony. However, there is something I would love to discuss that the Chinese player base has not yet decided to talk about. The other love interests, the other male leads, Caleb, Raphael, Silas, and even Xavier. Raphael has been known to sneak into the main character's bedroom. Then there is Caleb, a man who literally drugged and kidnapped the MC to make it to where she could not leave or go anywhere. And then there is Silas, who kidnapped the MC and forced her to resonate with him before she could leave. And then there is also Xavier, who stalked the MC. So I would love for the Chinese fan base to realize that not all of the love interests are as golden boy as they make them out to seem. However, whereas there were a little bit of things regarding Valko that I was privy to regarding his whole story, some of it has been brought to my attention that the aspect of one of the things had to deal with Xavier rather than Valko himself. Now, you may ask, why is this so important? Well, because it is a big deal. If a company like this can air out that a character is going to stay and then suddenly change it, what makes you think any other game company is safe in that aspect? What makes you think it will not happen to your game, to your phone game, your games on your PC? What makes you think that the video game companies won't do the same? Now, I understand that many video game companies do not do what an otome game does. I am aware. However, that does not stop them from ignoring a player base from a different country. Love and Deep Space is a Chinese otome game, so their domestic player base is about 50% of their revenue, whereas the overseas is about 40% of their revenue. Just because a domestic fan base is 50% of your revenue does not mean that you can ignore your overseas fan base. Many fans have come to me regarding this, saying that they don't understand at all why the domestic is more important than the overseas. Now, I grant you this piece of information. The domestic fan base has come out and gone after the overseas fan base, being extremely racist and homophobic. When called out on it, they call them broke. Many of the overseas fans are advising other overseas fans to ignore them, to not feed into them, because that is not what should be happening. Many other fans are stating that Infold is doing this to divide the fandoms, to make it to where they ignore the bigger issue. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that domestic fan base is very upset about lack of main story development, or that the love interests, Caleb and Silas, have not had any progression to their love routes. I completely understand. However, at the end of the day, Valko was hence released to be told that he was very integral to the main storyline. Due to the main storyline being written around Valko, and now Valko being cancelled, the company has to rewrite the main story. Because of the main story being rewritten, That leads to even more delays in regarding to content. Many fans have told me that due to the lack of content, many of them have left Love and Deep Space. Many of them got bored. There was no roadmap or anything to progress of any type of story-based Love and Deep Space content. Now, I understand that most companies are very busy. However, you are not a company without your fandoms or your player base in regards to video games. I know that I am a much smaller content creator, and me speaking about this probably does not matter. However, I am a human who has a voice. I tried the game. I rather enjoyed it. It was very fun for me. However, due to the lack of information from Infold and Paper Games, I have joined the boycott. Infold and Paper Games needs to learn that just because their domestic counterparts of their overseas counterpart is louder, just because the Chinese domestic fan base is loud, doesn't mean that the overseas player base isn't louder. 50% can be loud, but 40% can be just as loud. So, as I'm saying, this may not seem as big of a deal to most players and most people who follow me, but to others, it is very much a bigger deal because this could lead to something far worse. I have been conducting interviews and gathering testimonies from other players in regards to how they feel about the Valco situation, and you can look forward to that video. As always, I hope you guys never forget you are loved, you are appreciated, you do matter, and I will see y'all in the next one. Good night.